All right, good morning, everybody. This is the March 7th, 2024 Planning and Zoning for Maricopa County. We'll call the order at 9:32. Rosalie, would you like to call roll call, please?
Commissioner Arnett,
Here.
Commissioner Curley,
Here.
Commissioner Dan Zyson,
Here.
Commissioner Landau, Commissioner Lawrence,
Here.
Commissioner Montoya,
Here.
Commissioner Swart, Commissioner Slasher,
Here.
Vice Chairman Lindblom,
Here.
Chairman Hernandez.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Awesome. Thank you, Rosalie. Couple announcements here just for everybody that's on the webinar. We're having some technical difficulties, so we don't have any video of anybody that's in attendance. So if you make a motion or a second, please let me know who it is because we can't see. On to the announcements. This meeting has been noticed in accordance with Open Meeting Law, ARS 38-431. Agendas are available within 24 hours of each meeting in the Maricopa County Planning and Development Office and are also available on the Planning and Development website 1 week prior to the hearing at www.maricopacounty.gov/planning. The staff reports prepared for each agenda item shall become a part of the permanent record for each case. With respect to hearing process, cases will be considered in the order they appear on the agenda unless otherwise agreed to by the commission. For each case, the applicant will be given a set amount of time to present. Anyone wishing to speak on a particular case shall fill out a speaker's card for in-person attendance or raise your hand with GoToWebinar. The amount of time allowed for speaking shall be at the discretion of the commission chair. Staff will provide the chairman with the names of persons who have registered and noted desire to comment, and those registered participants who have raised their hand. The chairman will call on each named participant one at a time. The chairman will conduct the hybrid, in-person, and virtual public hearing according to the bylaws and according to the rules established by the chairman regarding public comment. Votes will be done by roll call vote only. The chairman will verbally identify the specific members responsible for all motions and seconds. All right, meeting minutes. We got the minutes for January 11th, 2024. Are there any comments from the commissioners on the meeting minutes from January 11th? All right, hearing no comments, the minutes are approved. We will move on to consent agenda. Staff, if you'd like to present the cases that are on the consent agenda.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we have 6 items on consent. They are S 2022-001 Rio Highlands in District 2. It's a preliminary plat in the R118, RUPD, and R118 zoning districts. Recommendations for approval, subject to conditions A through P in paragraph 18. Z 2023-017, known as XL Pipeline in District 1, is a rezoning to C3 CUPD with a plan of development. The recommendation is for approval in paragraph 14, subject to conditions A through I. Case Z 2023-085, known as Sun State Banjo WCF in District 1, is a major amendment to a special use permit for a wireless communication facility in the Rural 43 zoning district. Recommendation is for approval in paragraph 11, subject to conditions A through L. The 4th item is Z 2023-127, known as Diversified Development Self-Storage in District 5. This is a zoning to C2 CUPD, along with a recommendation for approval in paragraph 12, subject to conditions A through I. Z 2023-132, known as Sun Lakes Pima Utility Well number 34 arsenic treatment in District 1. The zone change to Industrial 2 IUPD with a plan of development. Recommendation is for approval in paragraph 10, subject to conditions A through F. And finally, Z 2023-149, 101010. Let me repeat that. 10101 West Bell CUPD in District 4. It's the zone change to C2 CUPD. The recommendation is for approval in paragraph 11, subject to conditions A through G. And that concludes the consent agenda, and I'm happy to try and answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Darren. Are there any questions of staff from the commission? All right. Is there anybody from the public that is interested in speaking for or against these cases? All right, there's no public interest. David, is there anybody on webinar with their hands raised or registered to speak?
We're not aware of anyone online.
All right. With that, we'll close the public forum. Is there any discussion from the commission regarding the items on the consent agenda? All right. Hearing none, I
Move
will.
to approve.
Is there anybody there that has some comments?
Yeah, Commissioner Lawrence moved to approve the consent agenda items with the conditions recommended by staff.
Awesome. We have a motion to recommend approval by Commissioner Lawrence. Do we have a second?
I will second.
We have a second by Vice Chairman Lindblom. Is there any comments on the motion? All right, staff, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Arnett,
-38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38, -38.
I can't.
Commissioner Arnett, Commissioner Curley,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Zyson,
-38, -38, -38, -38, -38,
Audio.
-38, -38, -38, -38, -38.
I'm calling Arnett.
none of them could hear, I don't think. Commissioner Lawrence,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Schlosser,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lindblom,
Yes.
What was your vote?
Chairman Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Zyson,
38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38 -38. Yes.
yes.
Got it.
38 -38 -38 -38 -38.
Commissioner Arnett, was he on the phone?
Do we have enough votes without Arnett?
Yes. Commissioner Arnett,
Acceptable?
Chairman, we have a motion
Um,
recommending approval by a vote of 7-0.
I think he just jumped up. You can ask.
this is David online. Commissioner Arnett's audio is in a loop back, so I've had to mute his mic. You hear it when I unmute it, it immediately goes to that loop back cycle. So he's online, but I don't have a way for him to connect. He may need to redo his audio connection to a cell phone or something. If he can hear us, I don't know, but he is
Mr.
online.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, this is Darren. I will call Commissioner Arnett. Hey, I'm going to put you up to the speaker, okay? Okay, that's fine. Okay, Commissioner Arnett, you are on the speakerphone.
I'm a yes vote. I apologize. Every time I push the unmute, it says the organizer mutes me. So I'm sorry for my struggles on technology here, but I vote yes on this simple matter.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Arnett.
Okay, so
Chairman,
just,
we have a motion recommending approval of the consent agenda by a vote of 8-0.
great. Thank you, Rosalie. All right, moving on to the regular agenda. Staff, would you please present the case?
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Commission. KC 2023112 is a zone change request from Rural 43 and C3 to IND2 IUPD in the Supervisor District 5. The requested overlay would be to change site screening requirements to a chain link fence with visual screening material at the property's northern boundary. Waive site screening for the east, south, and west boundaries of the site. Waive the side yard setback to the north and prohibit adult-oriented facilities, public assembly uses, marijuana establishments, funeral homes, bars, and liquor stores. On the next slide shows the site is just over 12 acres located at the northeast corner of Buckeye Road and Avondale Boulevard in the Avondale area. The site is flanked by the City of Avondale jurisdiction to the north and south. England, on the next slide, the England Equipment Company has operated on site with various industrial and commercial uses for decades prior to the development of the subdivision to the north. The next slide will show that the parcels along the railroad and Buckeye Road have historically been developed with various industrial uses. The subject site and other parcels on the north side of MC 85 between 107th Avenue and Avondale were historically used for railroad-related industrial uses. Since the publishing of the staff's recommendation approval to the Commission, the City of Avondale provided a memo of opposition requesting development comply with the city requirements for water utility services, street improvements to city public right-of-way, and fire prevention. Additionally, the city requests a public participation process that is consistent with the city's public notification requirements. Conditions D, E, and F recommended by staff somewhat address the City of Avondale's concerns listed in their opposition. However, the letter of opposition received gives pause to staff's recommendation of approval, and today's handout provides recommended action for the Commission to consider. At this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you very much. Is there any questions of staff from the commission? Is the applicant here, ready to present the case?
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Hernandez, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Shane Alleman with Tiffany and Bosco, 2525 East Camelback Road in Phoenix, Arizona. We're grateful to be here. This has been quite a process as we've worked with staff over the last couple of years on this property. And I do have some slides, but I don't think we need to go through all of them. I do want to highlight some aspects of it here. The company that I represent is England Equipment Company, who's been on the property since the 1950s. They've been operating with heavy commercial and industrial uses, which is compatible with what's happened along the railroad. There's a railroad just adjacent to us to the south that's been there for a long time and will continue to be there for a long time. And so the zoning or the uses that have been on there are compatible with what's happened to the east and to the west over or east to Tolleson and then west for about 1.5 miles along the railroad. England operates with a variety of trucks and trailers with transport business, service logistics. They operate all over the country with their core business being here in Arizona. This is what it looked like back in the 1950s when they're on. You can see they were operating on there with those industrial truck related uses. Nothing around them except the old Cashin development, residential development just to the south and the east of the property. And of course, this is what's happened now. Everyone's come around them with different residential that's been approved, knowing that these uses have been on this property for several decades. We did receive a violation from the city, or the property owner did a few years ago. We went back and forth with that there was a legal non-conforming use letter that was issued by the county that actually said, hey, we recognize that you're a legal non-conforming use. And then they pulled that violation, gave us a new violation, and asked us to file for a plan of development, which we did. And when we filed for the plan of development pre-app, they said, actually, we need you to go through a rezone. So that's why we're here today, is to make things right as we're working with the county and to rezone the property to what it has historically been for many, many years. And what will continue to be with the railroad being there and with the uses that are established to the east and the west. So this is just an outlay. I think Daniel already kind of showed us kind of what's there. To the east is really, or to the west there are the established buildings that have been there for a very, very long time. The truck parking area, which we're including as part of this application, is on the east portion of the site. So there will be a number of trailers and trucks that are associated with their transport business that will be parked there overnight on the site. We kind of went through all of the public outreach. We've met all of the public outreach requirements that the county requires of us. And then we've had no opposition throughout this process. And in fact, we met with the mayor of Avondale about a little over a year ago to sit down and talk with him about the property. And he didn't have any issues with it at all. And then we got this a letter from a neighbor who we're very aware of, Doug McClure, to the north of us about a week and a half ago. And then just earlier this week from the city of Avondale. We feel with the conditions of approval that have been recommended by staff, which we fully support, address all of the issues that have been put forth by Mr. McClure as well as the city of Avondale. And we fully support their recommendations for conditions and would appreciate your recommendation for approval so we can continue to work with the county in following the standards that will be applied here through this rezoning application. My client, Curtis Lavadier, who's the Vice President of Operations, is here with me today, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Elliman. Is there any questions of the applicant from the commission? All right. We will proceed with in-person speakers and allow those registered online to speak. After public comment, we allow time for rebuttal by the applicant. I don't think there's anybody even here. Is there anybody online, David, that wishes to speak, is registered to speak, or has their hands raised?
I'm not aware of anyone online, Chairman.
Okay. Well, since there's no public interest, we'll close the public forum.
Chairman?
Yes. Commissioner Montoya?
Yes. I'm very familiar with this property. I drive by there frequently. And, this is a clear example of a property that was zoned, 70 years ago, and development has occurred around it. The configuration of the land on this property makes it difficult to be developed other than what it's being used at this point. The proximity to Buckeye Road and to the railroad, just immediately adjacent to it, makes it difficult in terms of traffic. And so, I drive by there all the time. I see the food trucks that are there operating on the weekends and the evenings. And I applaud the applicant for trying to make improvements on the property because it is old. However, I just don't see any other use except the use that it's being currently used as. And without any other concerns or comments from commissioners, please let me know because I'm prepared to make a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
Commissioner Schlosser here.
Yes, Chairman Schlosser.
No, not anymore.
I'm sorry, Commissioner
I wasn't
Schlosser.
going to say anything, but I just wanted to echo Commissioner Montoya's sentiments. I guess my statement or question towards staff is, we see these all the time, and I won't take much time, but in a case like this, that this applicant obviously spent time, resources, money for quite a long time and has been there for this long and been surrounded. They were there first. To have an applicant like this or a property owner, and not only the property owner spend time, resources, and money, but also that of the city of Avondale, along with the county, to have them go through this process. I don't know why, at least in this particular case, why they've had to do this, but I know they're following the rules, and I guess I just had to get that off my chest. And I'm with Commissioner Montoya. I'll be glad to second her motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Schlosser. Is there any other comments from the commission?
I just have a question for the applicant. Is the applicant good with if there was a motion for approval with the staff recommended conditions, is the applicant good with all of those staff recommended conditions?
Yes, we've worked with staff on close on those. We've had some back and forth on a couple of them. And so, yeah, we're very comfortable with it, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair Lindblom. I guess I agree with Montoya and Commissioner Schlosser. So at this time, we'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve case number Z2023112 England Equipment with conditions A through K as presented.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to recommend approval by Commissioner Montoya. Do we have a second?
Second, Commissioner Schlosser.
All right, we have a second from Commissioner Schlosser. Are there any comments on the motion? All right, hearing none. Staff, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Arnett,
Yes.
He was a yes for those that couldn't hear.
Commissioner Curley,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Zeisen,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Schlosser,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lindblom,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez.
Yes.
Chairman, we have a motion recommending approval by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you, Rosalie. That concludes our agenda. Darren, are there any other matters?
No, Mr. Chairman, not at this time.
All right, since we have no other matters, this meeting is adjourned at 9:54.
See y'all.
Thank you.